Hey, Frankie here, and this is going to be more of a talky video about avoiding my kind of mistakes. It's primarily going to be about mindsets, habits, and stuff like that. You should really avoid the stuff I've done to myself that was and is still very detrimental to me. And the first thing is that I made art no longer fun for myself. One of the biggest issues I have is that I just am overly critical of myself. I can never just draw something anymore for fun, even when I just do some little doodle. I always have to critique it, I always have to judge it, and just make sure that I can improve upon it. I've already have a very natural, simple mindset, but when I was younger, I want to avoid being that guy who comes up with an excuse why he doesn't improve or why his art is not so bad as compared to everyone else says and stuff like that. Because I saw a lot of that in stuff like DeviantArt, Twitter, and stuff like that. And I wanted to avoid being that. So because of that, I kind of threw away my ability to have fun because of that, because I didn't want to be that guy. And I honestly shouldn't have, because when you're young or when you're first starting out with something, if you had fun or felt like you did a good job with something, of course you want to defend it at first, because you want to justify your feelings for it. You want to justify the idea that you had fun, you had good positive results from this, or at least what you felt from it. And that's fine, and you should act based on that. If you felt good about doing something, do it again. And do it more. Keep on going with it. That's how you build up motivation, inspiration, aspiration, whatever it is, and things like that. You get the ball rolling, and it's a snowball effect. You just get better and better naturally. And I kind of threw that away because I just didn't want to be that kind of jerk who just blew off everyone's criticisms. Now, you still want to take in criticisms. Yeah, it'll hurt, but you do need to develop some tough skin if you want to do it professionally, especially if you want to tell stories like I do through manga. Because, if the art is distracting from the story, people are going to notice and going to be distracted from the story. It doesn't matter how good your story is, unless it's worked off of the bad drawings, like the original One Punch Man art. If you look up the original webcomic, that art, it's not the best, but that's part of the joke. It's part of the satire. But when I was younger, I just didn't want to be that jerk who just blew off everybody because it's like, oh, I don't care about your opinion. I wanted to become better. I wanted to be a better artist. And because of that, I just became too critical of myself. And now I can't even just do a simple doodle without just crapping all over it. And it's like, no, you did bad. It's like, you did this for fun? Throw that away. You're a bad artist. All that to myself. I am literally my worst critic. And one thing about me specifically, I'm autistic, and part of my autism is amplified emotion, and a lot of my mental space is occupied by my emotions. So if I'm so critical of myself and I lose a lot of positive reinforcement, even from anything I did do good, because I go like, finally, you did something good, rather than, yeah, I did something really good. And sometimes I even get nervous, like, can I do that again? It's like, can I? Is this a fluke? As some people might say, it's a fluke. Just a little fluke here and there. So I end up losing a lot of emotional motivation when it comes to that. Now, of course, not every artist is autistic, and not every artist is so emotionally dependent as me, but it is definitely something that can burn you out by being so critical with yourself. And it's something I'm still personally working on trying to fix again. And it's just something that's really hard to get past once you get elbows deep in it. You don't have to be a perfectionist from the start, especially if you're younger, especially if you're like me and very heavy with your emotions and are very motivated by them. I highly recommend just do it for fun as much as you can. Yes, you still want to get better. Yes, you still need to take in criticisms, but don't be overly critical yourself. Make sure you still have fun with it, because if you lose that fun, trust me, it is hard just to do a storyboard, which is not even supposed to look good, and yet I still judge that. Even things that are just meant to be planning, I still judge like, that doesn't look right. I don't care if I know what it is. It just doesn't look right. You can draw better. And it's just like, so it just give me an idea how bad it becomes. Like, for something that's meant to look bad because you're not meant to make it look good, I still judge it for not looking good. I am really bad with that. But yeah, so, which leads into my second point I want to cover is good practice habits. You still need to practice, but you gotta make that practice kind of fun. Of course, you still need to practice things you don't find fun. For me, it's environments, and I am very bad at practicing. One of the things I recommend the most when it comes to good practice habits is first, make sure you draw every day. Just make sure you draw something. It doesn't matter if it's just a scribble. Just do it. Just put that scribble on the paper. Just put it in there. Just scribble it down. Doesn't matter. Just do it at least every day. And if you cannot practice something, like if you're not in the mood to practice something that you need to work on, and you're just not feeling it, draw something that you know you're good at, because you can still improve that. Something that you're good at, that you love to draw. Let's just say you love to draw faces like I do. You just draw another face. Draw a face from a slightly different angle than you might be used to. Take something that you do enjoy to draw a lot and try to push it a bit. So you still get in that good practice, you're still improving upon skills that still need to be improved upon, because everything needs to be improved upon, even if you're a professional, because that's just how artists are. And then you can come back later with more energy and positive reinforcement from the things that you are good at, that you're trying to make even better, to tackle things you're not so good at, like environments or dynamic body poses, bodies interacting with the environment, which is another really bad one I have, and things like that. So you can still have a good loop of positive reinforcement for your practice. And if you, let's just say, you really can't practice anything, you already did your scribble for the day, and you just can't motivate yourself to draw, then just don't draw for that day. Of course, like I said, still get that scribble out, but just don't draw for the day. Just take a break. There's nothing wrong with a break. With jobs, like real life jobs, have mandatory 15-minute breaks here and there, because people need those breaks. People need rest. You can't just keep working yourself constantly. Your brain is like a muscle. Hell, you have to use muscles to draw, so your hand might need a break, especially if you have like a tight grip on the pencil, and stuff like that. Like, you just need a bit of rest. That's all you need. It might be only for like an hour or two. It might be like for the day or 2 days, as long as you come back to it. I would try to avoid having rest periods longer than a week, because you can get rusty. But take your time, especially if you're younger and you have a lot of free time. Maybe play a video game, do something else. Don't burn yourself out. Trust me, do not burn yourself out, because a short break is much shorter than a burnout. A burnout can literally last months. Trust me, I have one or two of those, and they're not fun. They're unmotivating. They're very demotivating. They're just horrible. You do not want a burnout. Trust me, you do not want a burnout. So short breaks are much more important than going till you burn out. Because a short break can last maybe a week at most, while a burnout can last months. Remember that. Take your breaks, rest, let yourself mentally recuperate, and things like that. And the very next point I want to talk to, because I think I kind of hammered in the good practices and habits things, which is mainly just don't destroy yourself, is don't worry about the other guy. Don't worry about the artist who's like a lot better than you and has a lot more experience than you. Because when they first started, when they were 5, their drawings were crappy too. If they started when they were 15, their drawings were also still crappy. What you don't see in most artists is the amount of practice and effort that goes into getting to the point where they are. Talent is a lie perpetuated by the industry to promote people. The closest thing to talent is the willingness is to practice. That's literally the closest thing to talent, at least when it comes to art, and especially in today's world. You don't have to be a fine artist. You don't have to get your stuff into the Louvre, which is like this super fancy, highest end thing in the entire world, museum thingy, whatever, modern art, whatever. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But the point is, don't worry about other people. Just keep on focusing on yourself when it comes to you improving. You don't have to compare yourself to others. You can look towards others for inspiration, advice, some tips and tricks, and stuff like that. But don't try to compare yourself to it. Like, don't go to like a drawing video and say, wow, I can't even draw a circle. And it's like, no, that's not helping you. No one can draw a perfect circle. We can make something that looks like a circle, because if you actually put a stencil over it that is a perfect circle, you won't see the perfect circle. It'll be an egg at best. A lot of it is just experience and practice. So don't worry about the other person. Just draw. Just focus on yourself. Don't go to like, oh, this person's getting a lot better than me, faster than me, even if they were originally at your skill level. Maybe you're not practicing enough. Maybe they found out a trick before you did. Just ask, be friendly. And if you are one of those better artists out there who don't share your tips and tricks because you're afraid of losing your job, you're kind of a jerk. Just saying. I'm just saying that. You're a jerk. Because you're not going to lose your job. People hire you because they want your style, not because you're a good artist. Because if that was the case, then sorry, you would have never even gotten your job in the first place, because there's many other artists out there who are probably a million times better than you. People commission you because they want you. So share your tips and tricks. Be friendly to the community. If not, I'm going to keep calling you a jerk. But for those beginners out there and people like me, just stop comparing yourself. Like I said, this video is about things that I have a lot of trouble with, and trust me, I have a lot of trouble with this one. Especially when it comes to things I'm particularly weak at, like environments. When I just look at someone else's environmental drawing, concept art for games, and I just see them like, how did you even do that? I can't do that. I'm horrible. And it's like, that's not a good way to think. Yeah, you can make some dark humor out of it, but no, just focus on what you can do and how you can improve. You can look towards them for advice, like I said, some tips, some tricks, something, but don't demean yourself when you're comparing yourself to others. Try to make it a learning experience, not a self-hating experience. And I guess that's pretty much all I have to say for now. I hope that this is useful to people. I know there's no drawing in this video, despite being an art video, technically. But, yeah. Well, see you later.